In the first video of this series, I went through the benefits of walking barefoot. And in the second video, I went through how we can get these benefits with shoes. But what about if we're going over very rough terrain with sharp rocks? The downside of the minimalist shoes that I went through previously with their thin soles is that you're going to just feel those rocks and the rough terrain too much, to the point where it may just hurt your feet and potentially destroy your shoe a little bit faster. So what's the solution? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through the Vivobarefoot Primus Trail shoes. These shoes are actually designed to go over rougher terrain while still giving you the benefits of walking in the barefoot. So let's have a look at these shoes in more detail. Let's begin. Hello, my name is Dr. Steven Hulme. I'm a chiropractor currently in the Oxfordshire area, and in this video, this is the third video, the last video of my three-part series looking at the benefits of walking barefoot. And in my previous one, I went through the Vivobarefoot shoes and how we can use these minimalist shoes to still get some benefits of barefoot walking. However, sometimes we'll go through rough terrain, and the terrain can have sharp rocks that can be a bit too much for these previous shoes that I went through. And so you may want some more protection. And this is where the trail shoes come in. So these trail shoes, this is the Primus Trail III all-weather Vivobarefoot shoes. And the main difference between this shoe compared to the Primus Lite version is that they have a slightly thicker sole and they have some lugs on the bottom which slightly lift you up from the ground, and they provide some extra grip that the Primus Lite version doesn't have. Now obviously with slightly more going on with the sole, so a slightly thicker sole essentially, means that you're going to be a little bit further away from the ground and you won't quite get as much of the benefits of walking barefoot, potentially. But I'm going to let my brother give you his version of the shoes, because as I mentioned in the previous video, we went up Snowdon 2 days in a row, and on the first day we went up the hardest track, and on the second day we went up, I think it was the second hardest track. So the terrain was very rough, there was a lot of sharp rocks, and my brother has worn the Primus Lite version, so the previous version that I went through last time, for about 6 months. So he's very used to these shoes, but this was the first time he used the trail shoes. So you'll see how he found them and the differences between them, and whether he still feels that you get the advantages of a barefoot shoe, whether you're still working your foot more than a traditional shoe or a traditional hiking shoe. So let's see what he's got to say. More recently, you've now got the trail shoes, which have a bit more grip on the bottom. It's a little bit thicker. So you've gone up pretty much Snowdon twice now, 2 days in a row with them. How have you found them, particularly in comparison to the Primus Lite or weather ones?
They definitely need a little bit of breaking in. Fortunately, my feet are quite used to them, so there was no pain in the feet, other than there's a bit of tightness on the right side of my foot near my small toe. I think as the more I wear them, that won't be a problem. Otherwise, they're really, really comfortable. And actually, that extra grip on the bottom, the extra lugs that is added, is really noticeable. And you wouldn't really want to go with the other Primus Lites because they won't really be very good for rocks. The extra tread that you get on these are fantastic. They really do. They're probably the best size for tread you would want. You wouldn't want any more, but you wouldn't want any less. So yeah, it's really ideal. You can still feel the ground, you can still feel the stones without it piercing into your feet.
So there we have it. So it appears that these shoes have a good balance between having a good thickness of sole that gives you the protection while not being too thick or too heavy of a shoe, that you don't get the benefits of a minimalist shoe. When you still get the benefits of walking barefoot, but perhaps not as good as the Primus Lite. However, if you were to go on a walk on a rough terrain in the Primus Lite, you might find that it's a bit too much for the foot. You may get too many sharp stones. It might not protect you in the same way. So you're still getting the most benefit you could while going over that type of terrain. The shoe is still very flexible and it is also still very lightweight. So they are maintaining the minimalist shoe as much as possible while giving you the necessary support that you need for going over the terrain. It's still a flat shoe, so it doesn't have the arch support. It doesn't have a heel, so you are flat. It's purely just giving you more protection. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, Vivobarefoot have been generous enough to give me a 10% discount code on their shoes. So if you're interested in buying these shoes, then head down into the description of this video or any one of the videos I've done in this series, and you'll find firstly a link to get you to the shoes, and then you'll see a discount code that if you put in at the checkout, that they will give you 10% off. So I hope these videos have been useful, and as I mentioned, if you've not seen the previous two, I highly recommend that you go and watch them now, and put any comments, any questions you have down in the comments. I'll be very happy to answer them to the best of my ability, and I will see you on my next video. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.